like this. Let me check. Is the camera angle, is it perfect? Because that's what we settled for. Nothing less than perfect. All right. So you see this guy is bathed in green lights, which is called OSL Object Source Lighting. So here, well, let me adjust slightly the camera. Sources would be more accurate because there are many sources of light. The first is the ambient light from the ground. This one here. Here we go. Zoomed in slightly. Like this. Very good. Okay. Ambient light from below. And that's what we have here. And then the second source of light is you see the pipes here. Well, this is a slight source, little source of light, and these pipes you see in the back emitting some lights all over his body, or whatever the surface. And so yesterday, or this morning to be more specific, finished this one. Let me zoom in slightly. Yes, gotta zoom on there. Yep, I hope you can see. And so, in fact, what I'm doing now, this, how to say, OSL is the result of many steps, many hours of work, airbrush, base coat, and then refine with a brush, and refine many times. And now I'm doing the last step, is the highlight with so the darker green here is my base color that has been shady before, and this is my highlight. And so now I'm focusing on this one, correcting all sorts of mistakes I can see on the way. So this guy is finished, absolutely. You see here, kind of the specular highlights a bit everywhere there, with this green, lighter green here. Yes, now that's the tail is what I have left to do on the other guy, on this guy here. Okay, so here also I've done pretty much everything. So you see here, it's a pretty sharp light over there. Yep. Okay, on the elbow here. And yeah, pretty much everywhere here on the elbow of the little rat here. Everything here on the metallic edges that should catch a lot more light. So here on the gun, the helmet, that's pretty much it. I think this highlight I could place a bit higher. And here the same very light edge highlights all over here. So I will place the highlight a bit higher on this part, do the tail, and go to the next guy. So taking that green light, it's kind of an apple green, and pretty translucent, but I have an old pot. This is very old Vallejo one, I think more than 10 years. So it's not the nice recipe you could have now. It's an older recipe, and it dries faster on the brush. It doesn't really flow well, but I will do with what I have. The good thing about this green is that it's translucent, and so just one coat like this, and you see already have decent transition. Every time I go too far on the highlights, I take my brown contrast paint, which is also from Vallejo, so it's not called contrast, it's called express. But you see, I can come back in and stipple, and so I don't have too much here as the first. Yes, now slightly visible from that angle, which is better, more natural. Well, I think if you put it on the table, that's the angle of the miniature, which is not bad. But because the glow is from below, you have to overdo it slightly on the edges. Otherwise, it's just not noticeable at all. So that's why here you see my lightest ray of light is not at the very bottom, it's slightly on the side, so we can see it from that angle. Yeah, something like this. And now let me check. We have a bit of greenery here on the helmet, this side as well, just on the edge like that. So although it's supposed to be just the very last highlight, of course it's correcting everything before I call it done. So all of this slight, whether it's a mistake or just have skipped it because I have forgotten about it, then it's time to fix it. Like this. So here I'm really doing it higher up so we can see it from that angle. First I place the light and then I will refine. Yeah. Yeah, it's better like this. This as well, I could place it slightly above, like this. Kind of glazing and bringing the drop, so this is a lot better, you see. Well, at least for this part here, but not this one down there. Yeah, something like this. It's pretty drastic when it's wet, but when it dries, it's a lot tamer, and that's why I have to go bolder on the effect. Okay, now I take my medium green and something like this. Medium green and smooth out the transitions, so pretty diluted. Down here I have a lot of green anyway, so that medium green can fade very gently. Here it's a bit different. Don't have much room because then I have the shadow and the transitioning to the natural brown of these metallic parts. And then again, I will darken the edges with a dark green now. So you see, I cannot say that that's the first step of the highlight because I'm working over what I had, but still I can say that it's easier to work from light to dark. In fact, I build it from dark to light, and then refine it from light to dark because it's easier to glaze a dark color over a light color. So for instance, we'll show you exactly what I mean here. See, now it's a very dark green, diluted. It's kind of like a contrast, somehow like a contrast, like pretty close. But I prefer the consistency of the paint rather than the contrast, and we just glaze over the edges. We'll tint the thing. I can go a bit stronger at the bottom here. I think I go stronger also at the top. And then if I have any problems with that green, I will let it dry to see. I can glaze over that green with that contrast. And I talked about the consistency. The thing is, this contrast type paints, sometimes they leave a shine. That's what I don't really like. But you know, I can always varnish over it. When I'm finished, a matte varnish will get rid of that. So that's not. Let's try to smooth out this light here. So now it's dirty. Of course, it takes some time to refine. So I don't know if you guys have experience painting miniatures. Sometimes I have people watching the live that have not done it before. Sometimes I have people who have painted whole armies. Here, what I'm doing, so usually I'm painting dioramas, making dioramas. And now I'm painting just these miniatures that are not meant for a diorama. But you see that green is just fading pretty nicely. The dark green, allowing for a smooth transition. And then with many passes, the job will be done. So just requires patience, but it's not very hard, so that's cool. It's not like crazy brush control. Touching, letting dry, touching again, and that's how you can get a smooth transition nicely. Although here it's reflection on the, you see from here, I like a bit of grit, because it reflects on the metallic surface, and so a bit of grit like this would show an uneven metallic surface, so a metal that is a bit battered. I don't know if this guy really takes care of his stuff, so that's only appropriate to have battered metal with a bit of grit on the reflections and stuff. And so that's why also the last step of the highlight, so of this light green, comes after a lot of work because, yeah, you can, guys, check out the lives I have on the channel. You'll see many video working on these guys. I have 6 of them, and the question is, should you go one step further and doing this light green highlight? I think the answer is yes, for many reasons. So this step is not the longest at all, but it really pushed the miniature a lot further. Betty Boop said hi, hello, and welcome, Betty Boop. I hope you are doing wonderful. And so, with all the work that has been put in, it's a bit of a shame to not go and finish it. Although, of course, it comes after many hours. So it's additional working time. But I think this is the step where you get the most for the time you put in something like this. Okay, and now I will do the tail. So the tail already has a highlight. You see that medium green? I will push it a bit further. Just a bit further. With that light green. So in fact, I dilute my paint, my light green like this, and I will leave a drop of diluted paint. So this is really the specular highlights of this on these little blobs here that constitute the tail. So I have to do something, you see, that is seen from the side, not only from, that's the trap here. The easy trap to fall to is to put it underneath here, so that's all work for nothing. So well, if you do that, that's a lot of work for nothing, so that's a shame. Like this. So you see, this is I think, very easy, and you don't need to be very clean. You know, it will blend on its own. It's okay, as long as it is slightly diluted. It really brings the model to the next step. So I have to, you know, how to say that? Keep the motivation, and go for the next step. It will really pay off. And you see here, I put it where I can, but you know, it's not like there is only one possible, like one perfect brush stroke. Anything can work. In fact, it's pretty flexible. Although I have a blueprint already, as you can see, because I have many passes. Yep. Let me check. Okay, maybe this. Whoops. Yeah, something like this, just to bring a bit of magic to the end of the tail, like this. And this. Something like this is enough. And it's because it's translucent. If I do a second pass, and then it becomes a lot more visible and strong than one pass. And so if you just gentle, it also blends on its own. And I think this guy will be finished. I'll do something here, a highlight there. with my medium green though, because this is reflecting on a dark metal, black metal in fact. And just the power of the edge highlights is incredible. Yeah, if you just look at this or this like this, I think it's really necessary for the OSL. Okay, something simple like this is enough. Opla, improvising. I think that's a bit too much, but yeah, right. I will tame it down. Well, I will wait for it to dry, because when it dries, it's a bit tamer already. Let me put that here. Yes, very good. This here and that here. Okay. And then yes, I will just glaze it with my dark green. And you see lazy techniques at work. Glaze with the dark green, and that will enhance the saturation and also integrate it a bit better. You see, it should not be that strong, but now I think you know, it's noticeable if you look at it. It's not dominant, so that's pretty cool. And I will take some black, tame it further down, because it should be metallic, kind of matte black surface, and not really the metallic, very shiny metallic reflective part. Vallejo, but I would recommend AK over Vallejo. If you want to know why, you can ask in the chat. I would answer for sure. Yeah, something like this, a lot tamer. And that's enough, I believe. So you see, that was a quick OSL here with the brush. No need to be super complicated. In fact, I may do the, yeah, the, how to say, edge highlights here on the cloth. If it's slightly irregular, I think it's all right, because the surface is not regular. It shows all the little imperfections. So, in fact, if it's too smooth, it's suspicious. I'll do everything here, yes. Something pretty light. Yeah, here I've done already. And okay. Whoops. Oh my god, what happened? A big stain here. Pretty bad. I don't know what happened. I think with the water on the brush, I put it on it, but it's okay. I will see when it's dry. Just going to reinforce that. make it a bit stronger. Oops, sorry, here, yes. This is live, a real live, a live. And so the painting you're going to see is not perfect. It's not as smooth as refined edited video, but just sharing joy of painting and yeah, something like this. So here I come back with my big brush, and I will take my dark green and just redo this area, redo the transition. I had a little accident, it's okay. I used to paint a lot with the airbrush, and I've switched to the brush just to master the craft a bit better. So if you have an accident like this, well, when I was less comfortable with the brush, I would really have a hard time getting back to nice, smooth results. Now I'm more comfortable. I'm not afraid to do it. And so that's a real comfort. And even if it's not perfect, then the surface is not perfect. So it's okay. I think it's fine, in fact. Oh, I see some lines here. This should be done. So that's the thing, right? If you start to look at the details, there will be a lot of things to, continue. Something like this. And this is because it is facing down, and there is this glow from the ground. So every angle that is facing down, especially if it's metallic like this, should get a good amount of edge highlight. And well, I may be wrong, but I would call it done. Yeah, let's do this here. I think can benefit the miniature here as well. This is very fine edge highlights, but it's not that hard if you can get a good angle. And I would argue maybe it's a bit stronger here. That everything belongs. kind of almost dry brushing here because the ridge is very flat. It's not very pronounced, so it's pretty hard to get that. Of course, not very clean, but I will clean up right after. So the same here. It's very hard to get that clean line. I'll try again. We'll reinforce it before I clean up the edges. Because I will need something thinner, crisper. Whoops, this is terrible, but it's okay. Because everything is okay. It's just paint. Okay, and so I will tone it down with the dark green. Really, it's the same recipe all the time, applied everywhere. Rinse and repeat. The thing is, yes, to keep going. Oof. To keep doing it again and again and again, because, wow, these are very detailed miniatures, and so the more you look, the more you see. Ooh. This is very dirty here. It's a shame because it's the front of the Mini. But I will do it again and again. Redo it. Okay. And redo the line here with the green, trying to be very precise. Have to find a good grip. A bit thick, but okay. This is the hardest part. So I have this nice line here. And then I can thin the highlight line. That's not a problem. And yeah, let's thin it. So I have my dark brown, I have my dark green and my dark brown to thin the line. And make it look like a real edge highlight and not a big brush stroke. Okay, more or less like so, in fact. So now I'm just going to glaze slightly over that. It's a bit too uniform to my taste. So I have a little bit of that imperfection in there. Then I think I will highlight with a green, lighter green. And then looks like there is something glowing in there. Well, whatever. And once I have the highlight with the lighter green, I will use the brown to integrate these two. Something like this would be enough. Now taking my, where is it here? The Brown Express Willow Bark. Good shake on the palette, and then I will use that to transition from my dark green to, you know, dark brown, and dark brown has already has the highlight, so no problem. I will wait for it to dry, and I will have a second pass. Looks really good. Also nice choice of painting music. Thank you very much, Andrew Lynch. Nice to have you here, and glad to know that you enjoy. So because this paint is translucent, it's not about being a control freak. It's just putting it about where it makes sense, and you know, it will make the transition its own. Something like this. So the thinner it looks, the better, of course. And now you see, I will leave it like this. It's a bit mysterious. What is it? Who knows? It should be an edge highlight, I think. It looks like a glowing part, but you know, it's not the center of attention. So I will let it dry, have a look. It's good enough. Yeah, so this was easier. Sometimes some parts just go smoothly and some don't. Okay, yes, something here with the bands here. I will highlight the edges of that with my lighter green. I think it's too thick to look like an edge highlight. That's really a problem. I will try to fix that again. You see the obsession? The obsession to, you know, just do better. I think it's necessary. Always like this. Maybe you're just like one step away from something that is just game changing in terms of painting. And if you shy off, maybe you're missing out. So but I think my brush now is guided by the tiny ridge on. You see the ball is split like this in the middle, and so here I try to do something also a bit cleaner. I will add some water, and I will let the brown contrast flow in the recess, and that will give me cleaner edge highlight. Sorry, I'm a bit close here. This is pretty detailed, so that's why. I will leave it like this. I think it's getting just worse and worse. Yeah, just like this. No more, no less. And so yes, that's this guy done. And so 4 out of the 6 have been finished fully. Yeah, maybe this one here. A hint of highlight. So if it looks bad, just continue working on it. The worst that can happen is it looks bad, or you could say it looks worse, but whether it looks good, whether it doesn't, and so whether it's bad or worse, it's pretty much the same. But if it starts to look good, then that's a win. I'll take that very highlight green, the apple green, like this. Oops, I have to reload on my palette. That's fine enough for this little detail that is pretty much out of sight on the miniature anyway. Yep. Here we go. So that would be done. Not perfect, but good enough, because I have 6 of them, Skaven Stormfunds, for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, round base, and so they have this, I don't know if you see them, oh, maybe like this, yeah, okay, you see them at the back of the screen here, and so 6, and that's 2 of them finished. Let me double check this guy, so I turn it around, I check if I haven't forgotten any angle or something like this, and then that will be it, and I will go for the next one. So you see, I'm watching, and as I'm watching, I see some areas that would benefit from some of this green light. Especially these, because they are kind of in the shadow here. And so if it's in the shadow, then it takes more of that green glow from below, and especially it's just next to the head. This is a bit stark, but I will tame it down with the dark green. Good idea, and then execution in 2 steps. Here we go, a glaze of this green will solve our trouble, like this. And now, all of a sudden, I have beautiful edge highlights in 2 tones. This somewhat desaturated green, pretty light, and this very saturated dark green, and it gives a lot of depth to the OSL. You see from below here, pretty cool sight. The objective, of course, is to have this cool sight also from more frontal angle. That would be this. And so, yeah, well, if you see anything that is out of place, so you see here, I like that when you look at this in the distance, you see the gauntlet like this, and it looks very, very credible. In fact, most of it is just the edge highlights doing everything for us. So really, if you do something, one thing for the OSL, the edge highlights. Okay, cool. Well, that will be good enough for this. So that's 2 out of 4. And that's our next guy. So they are more and more refined because I take them in the order I started. And so when I do the edge highlights on the first, it's not as good as the second, which is not as good as the third, because of course I learned to know the miniatures and what works the best. And so, okay, let's go. I will reload. You know what? If you allow me, give me 25 seconds. Change my wet palette. And also I have to reload a bit of water. So let me check. So you see I have my baking paper. I have to cut it to the right size and reload the water. So let me take a paper as this, which says "Be right back," which means the live is on, and I will need 30 seconds to do that. So please enjoy the music. In the meantime, be right back. Okay, so we are back, and in fact, I took a shortcut. I still have some room here on the palette, so I just added some more water because here everything has dried because there was not enough water. But I will put it here on the side, and that will be enough. Because I still have some green here I can use, and the browns and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Oops. So reloading, and now my wet palette is wet again. That's all that matters. Okay, a good blob, and hopefully I can do it without too many mistakes, so that can be smooth and quick and satisfying. The green glow contrasts very nicely with the ghostly blue skin tone. Just in that comment, thank you very much, Andrew. So the thing here with this very lighter highlight, let's say, I think is not to have a perfect line, but just where the light would do some sparks on the imperfections, I think. Okay, something like this, because it has to be visible from the side. That's the best, of course. Something like this. It's very light, but if you take a picture, the camera will pick it up, and so will the brain and the eyes. So you have seen the mistakes. We have all seen that. Here, try to erase it before it's dry. Let's see if it works. It doesn't. So I have my trusty green, brown contrast to have over it. Yeah, something like this. We'll feather slightly, like this. Okay, to leave no trace, no marks. It has dried slightly, so I go again. Okay, let's go. What was it already? Yeah, this, okay. I'm looking for the areas of interest, and not everywhere. For someone that's just getting into building their own army and everything is happening, what should I expect as a beginner? What do you mean in terms of expectations? Do you mean feelings or outcome, or you see I'm using cautious approach. It's hard to, have you ever painted before, or are you good at drawing? All of these are questions that will, of course, affect your experience. But I think if you approach it with a learning mindset, like it won't be perfect, push the paint around, and don't stress too much about getting the best, then you will have some fun. Learning curve, I would say, like brush control, how paint acts, how it behaves. Yeah, I would divide it like so. First, well, the brush control is just like a pen slightly. You will learn by trying holding the brush. Something that is overlooked, and it's good you ask is the paint consistency, the dilution. And I think there is no right or wrong dilution. There is the dilution you need for a certain kind of job. And so, for instance, here I'm doing the edge highlights, you see, which is highlighting the edges. And for that, I need a paint that is pretty thick, kind of holding on the brush and not running everywhere. If I have to do a blend, let me try. So here you see I have the same. I'm just adding a bit of water. And now, okay, again, more water. Whoops, too much. So now too much, so, but for the sake of the, you see now it's a lot more, how do you say, diluted. Then now that's good for instance, this, okay? Let me show you. I want to do a specular highlight here, oh, like this. And you see, because it's more watery, so more diluted, I got natural blend, transparency. And so the first thing is you will, with the practice, you will understand how much dilution you need. And also it depends if you go with a classic approach, like I'm doing now. To be fair, I think this is if you really want to get better, to better understand how it works and everything. And oh, awesome work, by the way, thank you very much. So here, I think it's if you have a good understanding of the light and everything. If you don't, you can lean into the technique. It's called a slap chop. Some don't like it. I don't really use it myself, though it is very satisfying. And so I think you can have a little bit of everything, satisfaction from this technique that, you know, you will get results quickly. If it's your very first time you paint, you will learn for sure. But once you have learned everything about the slap chop and you have the experience and stuff, you may want to explore more with the brush. But this is, you can do it on some miniatures, like you choose which one you paint with the brush and this kind of classic approach, and which one you use a technique that is called for like a speed painting. Yeah, that will really affect. Oh, I'm doing terrible here. Okay, so here I had a big blob of paint, and so I've used just water to dilute it and blend it, and now it's a lot smoother. Yeah, I think that's about it, you know, for the expectations. Focus on understanding rather than the results. And I would say, a piece of advice, focus on the general feel of the miniature instead of the cleanliness of the details. If you want to practice the brush control, you can, of course, so it's not forbidden, but if you go for the overall feel over than the precision and the details, you can have some pretty nice results, have a good lot of fun, and in fact have something that looks pretty cool, you know, if you don't really zoom in too much. But when I started painting, I was I was pretty young, and there was not all of this content on the internet we have now. And so I was very much focusing on the Games Workshop painting style, which is very precise and everything. It was not enjoyable at all. And so I would really recommend to go for an approach that you have more freedom in the hand, and don't aim for perfection. Just getting some colors on there. Try to have some contrast between light and shadow, and really go from there. That was a complicated question, sir. Complex. Okay, so now I have to be very careful and do all the metallics here. You see, kind of stippling like this for imperfect result. I think it works pretty fine. Yeah. And so now from the side, yeah, it's a bit too low, what a shame. So I'll have to do it again. Ooh. It looks cool from here, but when you take the miniature like this, you don't really see it. So I'll do the rest. I don't want to start with the correcting already. Okay, you know what? I have to take that green first because I did just one highlight, but it doesn't really show. So I'll do a second one here. I'm painting heavy metal style terminators right now, and you are correct. Very detailed, precise, and to be honest, not the most enjoyable experience. They do look nice though, just takes a long time for sure. Oops, sorry, I'm off camera. Well, edge highlighting really is a commitment, like what I'm doing right now. Although this is not technically an edge. So now you see up, and we see it from the side, and that's what we want. Okay, let's do it again here. Yeah, in the frame, sorry. Okay, that's better. Okay, one here as well. I guess I will do it here too. Okay, so one thing when painting, I think just keep faith and keep going. Sometimes it looks that you never finish, but personally, I focus on each step and the difference it brings on the miniature. And so I love painting. That's my thing. So you know, it's not that I've painting a little bit. I'm like, oh no, I have to paint again. But of course, if you are more of a player and getting paint on your mini to play, you can always find techniques to go faster. So that's the good news. Sorry. I'll do the same here and there, everywhere. So in fact, let me show you so we can compare the reflection on this one. So this is all right. This is good. Okay. And I'll show you the second one I did. Oh yeah, the second one with the Gatling gun. Look at the reflections. They are a bit higher. Well, not as strong, but here a lot higher on the gun. This is a bit stronger. This is better. Cool. Because of what I'm redoing just right now. That's a bit heavy, but it's pretty hard to get in there, so that's all right as well. Did I paint Old Skaven when they were part of the old world? I did paint some Skaven a long time ago, but yeah, before Age of Sigmar, I believe. I cannot really remember for sure. But at the time, I would rebase them on round base anyway, just because I think it looks better. But in fact, I painted just a few guys, not whole army. Okay. So this is the impossible area to get to. You see here, I will try. Oof. Okay. So just for the consistency. Okay. Oops, sorry, here. So now it's even from the sides, it's a lot more noticeable, and that's what we want. Because it's unlikely, well, if you take the model in your hand, that you can do that, but we want this to be a nice looking angle, not to have to switch to get to the best angle. Okay, let me check if I have any other highlights to do with that. Yes, here I will reinforce here, very good, and down there. Right, I have a habit of being a perfectionist, so I guess what outcome I should expect when painting my first model, especially if I plan to go for more green accuracy. Yeah, that's exactly about the expectation. If you just relax and, you know, paint it as if it was a canvas, I think it's a good idea to, you know, when you see a canvas, it could look very good, even though it's not perfect, you know, something artistic and almost abstract. And so here, you know, I would go for that if I was a beginner again. Almost like abstract, but something more artistic about the feeling and not the precision. And now that's my favorite part of painting. In fact, now I'm painting, so these edge highlights that require a lot of precision, I don't like that. I don't like doing that, but I do it because it looks good, right? It's necessary for this OSL here, the projection of the green light on the miniature, and the illusion, in fact, it's just an illusion. But I like the more free flow. If you look at these reflections here, especially this one here, you see, well, give me a second. This reflection here is going in all directions. It was just me having fun with the artistic interpretation of what it could be, you know, kind of having like imperfect stuff and going all around as if it had like imperfect surface. Maybe it's not how light would behave on that surface, but just, you know, do what you want. Is a good principle. And so here I'm seeing that I have missed so much of the, oops. So much of the first step of the highlights I have missed. So it's good to come back. So I have the 6 miniatures, and that's my second pass on the highlights on this one on each. And so I can see all the mistakes I didn't see the first time, so that's pretty cool. So just to make sure I have something consistent, because the light should hit almost everything. And also to begin, you see, I missed many spots. Um, yeah, exactly, organic. That's the thing, right? I think now I really like this. I will call it a movement in the painting. If you look at like famous YouTubers and stuff, they go for more artistic, organic, rather than perfect. And I think not only I think it's more artistic, but also easier and a lot more fun. And so I really like that. And so here I missed so much of this first medium green edge highlight, because this was the third miniature I did it. I did the edge highlight, and so just like I said, I got better on each miniature, noticing more details and edges that make sense. And of course I didn't at the beginning, but now that I do my second pass, I see it. And if I get all the edges, of course I get a more convincing result. So but I'm getting there. So that's cool. Here. Trying to not touch the model too much where the paint is fragile. So you see, for instance, this, just that. Easy to miss, but if I do it, now I have a lot more consistency. I do that too, this one. Now my paint is a bit dry, so make sure you have a bright light as well. Oh wow, nothing worse than trying to paint minis under dull light. Makes a big difference. Yeah, I have personally here, you can see well on the camera, I have 4 big LED panels, left, right, and top and bottom. So top left, top right, bottom right. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have one up here, just up here, but it's not the main light. Yeah, don't paint. In fact, you need the color of the warmth of the is 5,500 K or 6,000. So it's a very white paint. Paint. A very white light, like a hospital kind. So at the beginning, when you light it, it's ugly, but then you just get used to it. Like here, I don't feel I'm under hospital lights, but that's effectively what I have, and that's why you have these very true colors on camera. If you have a yellow light, that will tarnish everything. So good points, Andrew. Very, very true. And this really, I think it's great to hear it when you start. So your first experiences will be a lot better than if you go at it and like it's not working and you're wondering why and everything. Also, my lights are pretty high, so high up there, and so I have to bring my, if I want a good light, I have to bring my model up there, and so it's in front of my mouth, in fact, not my eyes, but my mouth. So it's pretty high, and so I don't bend the back or the neck. Sometimes when I film, because I have the camera in the way here, I stretch the neck a bit, but I try to always remember to get back. I also have a chair. I don't know where it's from. I thought it was Japan, but I think it's Sweden. Special chair where you can rest your knees and you have a bit of a open angle of the, how you say, the hips, and that's I think it's really good for me. Some people don't like it, but I think you have to set the inclination of the seat. So there is a slight inclination, like downwards, and that's why you have an open angle of the hips. But if you have too much inclination, then you kind of slip forward, and then you have a lot of weight supported by the knees, and that would hurt your knees. And so, in fact, just a little bit is enough. When I started with this chair, I thought, maybe it's not going to work for me, and blah blah. In fact, at the beginning, I was like, that's not very comfortable. But after tweaking a few times for the right setup, let's say, then it became comfortable, and now I'm very happy that I had a go at it. Oops. Oh my God. Rohan Duby. Hello and welcome. This is Skaven, Rat People for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Kind of techno rats. Techno rats? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, something like this. Great paint job. Well, thank you very much. And to thinking as I'm painting, the question asked just moments ago, the expectations for a first paint job. Well, I think whether it's your first paint job or not, the one thing that is great is that from one miniature to the next, you will have instant improvement. And so, for instance, let's say I have painted for maybe like hundreds of hours already, but I'm painting this, and you see everything I'm doing here. I did a first pass on the mini, and I just skipped all of these, but after practicing on the 6 of them, I have better eye to spot what I have to highlight now. And so that's why I'm redoing that. And so this version is a lot better than my V1 of that edge highlight step. And, you know, it's just pretty much instant from practice. So like, I'm not really, that's the truth. All of these edges, I missed them the first time I went over it. So look at that here, I missed it. Even to the point that there is so much I missed, wondering if I had done it or not, but definitely had. And just the vision now is a lot sharper than, and it's not much practice. I mean, that's what I mean. Not much practice between the first pass and the second pass on this guy. So Okay, now it's, I think we're getting there in terms of this medium green. Now back to my apple green. I call it apple green, so something like this. I will So here it's pretty important to keep the consistency. So every time I see an edge that is not done, I do it for the consistency. just checked out your sunset jump pack marine diorama. Those highlights were crazy. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's also a big project. Hopefully I will have time to get back on it a bit later, because this is very technical, and so I think I can do better, but I need first to work on my skill a little bit. Okay, just washing my brush because it was starting to get stiff with a bit of dry paint. Okay, now continuing. Oops. Yeah, that's how you put water on your model. See, with this part, there was still water from me cleaning the brush. Wait, check here. Okay. Still have a big drop. Yeah, here. Getting rid of the drop of water. Something like this. Let me check where I need. Oh, yeah, okay, I know, here. Need a bit more water now. Yeah, where was it already? Oh, I lost track of what I was doing. That's bad. Oh yeah, this here, down here. Okay. Okay, cool. Pretty much it. Oops, sorry for the earthquake. Bumped into the camera. It's something like this. I think it's pretty much enough. Yeah, cool. Just like this. And maybe something here. Oof, the angle was, oh yeah, because I have the tail here. Ooh. Let me try to correct that. From here, maybe, if I can. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Yes. I'll do it again. But from the right angle, that will change everything. Okay. Now we'll get back to the medium green and just feather that slightly with a very light diluted glaze. Yeah, something like this. Okay, oof, straighten my back. Let me check. I think I saw something just a moment ago. Okay, that's right. There are so many details. It's just so easy to miss some of them. Wherever you look, you have material to paint. So I think if I had to start over with the painting, Games Workshop Plastic is great, but the minis, they are so detailed. Maybe I would try something simpler. Because when you get lost into the details, I tend to forget about the main thing, which is the color and the light and the contrast. So you have many details, so the miniature is readable, but maybe you lose a bit of the artistry along the way. Trying to be too technical, I mean. So here I'm taming down slightly. I think it's a bit too thick, especially especially here. So glazing some dark green on the edge will help a lot. Yes, now it's a lot better. Oh yeah, this one, in fact, that was the most shocking to me. Not in a good way. So taming down. Yep. Ooh. Again, I will wait for it to dry. I have another pass. It's a bit too thick, a bit too barbaric to really convey the illusion. Oops. Now again. Ooh. It's just like I said, I think on the previous guy I was painting, some areas they just, go smooth. Some areas just won't be painted easily. So I will leave it like this. I don't want to struggle for too long on this. Instead, I will do that. Thank you for the stream. I enjoy watching you paint. We'll try and catch you when you're on again. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for your subscription as well. I broadcast Sunday to Wednesday evening, 8:30 p.m. Los Angeles time. So see you there. In fact, also, I think here I'm not far from done for this guy, so that's also a good news, because a huge amount of work, just a huge amount of work. Because I have 6 of them, so Okay. I think I have left two. I have left to do what? Let me check. Okay, a little bit here, up there, and then I do the tail here. Okay. Now to the tail. The tail is more of a drop of glaze, so I have, you see, something that is way more diluted like this. I get rid of the water in the brush, and then I will put a dot here and there. Okay, something like this. It's a bit drastic, so can always feather it with some of my medium green. Well, in fact, I think I will take the darker green and very, very diluted, so I can be less precise. It's less tiring. Kind of dabbing on the edges like this. Something like this, good enough. Water here. So the better is to not touch and just let it dry. I think it's pretty much done too, so very good. Let me check, and let me know, of course, in the comments if I have forgotten anything, like if there is an obvious flaw or something, because I've looked at these miniatures so much that sometimes I don't see it anymore. I don't know if it makes sense, but something obvious could have escaped my eye. Something like this. Oops. A bit of a thicker consistency here. Whew. Okay. Is it finished? Well, you know, I think it's all right. Maybe a little bit more like this I haven't done. Let's do it. Yeah, okay. And this. Breathing, breathing. Except this, what do I have? Maybe something here also from the crystal here. Okay. Okay, what do we have? This we do have it, it's okay. Going to break here the uniformity on this edge. A little bit more, okay. Oops. Okay. A bit too strong. Yeah, okay, cool. So we have a nice transition just like that here. Whew, brush down. Let me check if there anything out of place. I see something out of place right here, so I will correct it right away. This is too thick. You see that? So, oh, let me do that first. Let me check. Take off that medium green. Redoing this, if I can have something pretty. Okay, and the same here. Well, you know what? I think it's good enough here. Yeah. Oh, you see, I have some sun here from. Oh, gonna. Yeah. Need to close my curtain because I have the sun from the front. Of course, it's because I'm a vampire, but I cannot say it on camera, so I have to make up excuses. Yes, here we go. Yeah. Oh yes, I was on the Gatling guns. Looks okay. Rule of cool. I've been just thinking that something here would do great, so let's do it. Start for. Oh no. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Start first with the darker green. Maybe a bit here for the ambience. Now to the medium green. Too much water. Okay. Yep. Here we go. Just a hint. You see something like this just to be reminiscent, and maybe something here just to be cool. He's way up here, but yeah, I think it's cool. I'll do it. The last step is, you see these pipes here. First, I had forgotten about them, so everything is done except this. So I will add a dot of highlight on all of them. So it is just a dot, so it will be done like this. And this, a bit more like that. Okay, same on the other side. Yeah, something like this. Let me check these two I had here. Are they done? No. Okay, so let's do it. Just a dot like this to pretend I have painted it. Something like this. Let's check this one. Yeah, this one is done, so that's cool. So I have these 3 left. Ooh. Yeah. So that's done too. Before, oh, bit too much. Who cares? Well, I care. Let me check. I will add a little bit of green as a transition. In fact, here I think it's necessary. Trying to act like I don't care really is absurd. Okay. Yeah, this one too. Easy peasy, quick and easy. And the last one. Oof, yeah, this is how to get, how to reach. Okay, something like this. And like that. Perfect. Dirty and perfect. Very nice. I had one last thing. I cannot remember. What was it? Something pretty quick and easy. Before I finish. Was it on there? This guy is done. What was it to finish? That I said. Okay, something like this. How long does one figure take to paint? I think it's about 20 hours each. And so I have 6. And yeah, definitely something like this. There was a whole painting, the skin, then the NMM, and then I have to prepare, well, the glowing crystals and pipes. Then I have to prepare the OSL, so darkening, putting in the dark green, medium green, reinforce the medium green to give it more strength. Edge highlighting, first pass with medium green, and then second pass with the light green I'm doing now. And that's it. I could do it faster, I don't know, maybe some people would do it faster, but for me, I need quite a lot of time. Well, in fact, I think that's about it for today. I have forgotten what I was about to do after these little pipes, but I think so, right? I have done 3 out of the 6, so the 3 here can be considered fully finished, which is great news. I have these 3 here that this is my meditation. Well, I don't know if we can say so, but definitely you see nice music and something that is deep focus for sure. Even when I'm doing the live chatting, it's easy to get absorbed into the painting. That's why I think the hours fly. But you know, it's cool to see the results. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this live session. And if you did, you're very welcome to subscribe. You can check also my long form videos, short form videos. I broadcast live from Sunday evening to Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Los Angeles time. See you there. Thank you very much. Oh, the Albino Baskerville. You are very welcome. It was nice to have you with me, guys, during the stream. See you next time, guys.